name is Florence Ogonegbu, 23rd of April 2016. Welcome to the MMM presentation. Today we're going to be taking some important topics, and I'm sure you're going to learn so much, so I just want you to give me your attention as we go through the presentation, and then if you have any questions you can ask at the end of the presentation. The topics that I'll be covering this afternoon, we're going to talk about the MMM ideology, MMM terminologies, how to become a guider, and an introduction to Bitcoins. That's what I'm going to cover today. And today we have two presentations holding today, so once I'm done with this one, Manager Tabi will be taking the second presentation. Okay, so let's go. The ideology of MMM is to destroy the unfair financial system in the world and make financial relations among its participants or members fair. What this means is that the world has an unfair financial system that is currently running. When I explain it this way, that if you notice, the rich always become richer, while the poor always become poorer. If you look at it, for example, if you're a nobody, for example, and you go to the bank and you say you want a loan, they're going to ask you for so many things. At the end of the day, they're not going to give you that loan. While if someone that has a lot of money goes to the bank and says, I want a loan, it's not supposed to be so, right? Because how is the poor person going to come up when he doesn't have access to money? If you can get a loan, at least you can start a business, you can do something to uplift your finances. But when there is no source of income, your salary is not enough, there's nothing you can do. That is part of the unfair financial world that we're talking about. And our founder, Sir Sergey Mavrodi, noticed this, that there is no fair relation for the poor person in this world. And so he came up with MMM. And that is what the ideology of MMM, that is what MMM stands for. It is to make the financial system fairer for the participants of MMM. So when you become a member of MMM, it's not that we're saying that, because some people say, oh, MMM is a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not true. Some say, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. It's not true, because when I explain something now, the same system that MMM uses is what banks use, is what insurance corporations use. What do I mean? For example, if you join an insurance company, maybe you insure your car, you insure your house, what happens is that every month you pay a subscription, right? And if something happens to your car, maybe after 6 months, there's a large sum of money that will be paid to you. Now, a question I'll ask is, if every member of that insurance company comes one day and says, oh, we want our money, what will happen? That insurance company will definitely crash. Why? Because they use the same system that we use. Today, if you have an issue, you go to the insurance company, it's the money that's been accumulated from other members that will be paid to you. So it's the same system that MMM is using. You understand? So what happens when you join MMM? You get 30% bonus, or 10%, profit every month added. For example, if you join with 1,000, every month you receive 30% increase. The next month it keeps accumulating 30%. And then what happens? One member that doesn't need the money at the moment gives help to another member. And then by the time that member needs his money, he can request for it and receive it with 30% increase. That is how MMM works. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about the MMM terminology, the simple terms that you've come across. PH means to provide help. In other words, we have a currency in MMM, it's called Mavros. That is what you buy in. When you become a member of MMM, you register with your email, you put your bank details, your phone number, and you register. What happens is that if you decide to donate 1,000 rands, it means you are buying 1,000 Mavros. It's the Mavros that grow, actually. It's not even your money. Because what happens the day you decide to withdraw the Mavros, you make a demand from the system and say, I want to withdraw 3,000 Mavros. Then the system is going to automatically give your details to another member of the community to pay in the 3,000 Mavros that's become 3,000 Rand, because it's growing at 30% every month. So what happens is that when you join MMM with a certain amount of money, you are buying into the currency of the community. We're a community. It's a community of people with like mind. What we do, we are helping each other financially. It's a global financial network. When you come in, you have the opportunity to receive and give help. That is the beauty of MMM community. What binds us together is honesty, because you have to be honest to be a participant. For the community to have a free flow, we need to have people who are honest and say, oh, I need to give help of 1,000. And remember, we always say use your spare money. It's a very, very clear, it's indicated when you open the website, say participate with spare money. It means the money that I have at hand and I'm not using it. It means like MMM has become my bank. When I have 1,000 rands I'm not using, I give it to another member of the community to use. That member needs it urgently, and then he withdraws the money. The same thing, the day I also need help, I go and say, oh, I need this certain amount of money, and another member is allocated to me to give me help. That's what it means to PH, means to provide help. You're providing help to another member of the community that needs help at that point in time. To get help means now you're withdrawing your Mavros. You're requesting for assistance from the community. You're saying, oh, I need this amount of money. I started with 1,000 rands 2 months ago, and now my money is 2,000. I would like to get help. And so you click on the Get Help button, and then the system will automatically allocate someone else to pay you. Because remember the day you were registering, you put your account details, and so the system will give your account details to another member of the community to pay you the money that you need. Are you getting me, or am I too fast? Now, the PO is your personal or private office. It is what gives you access to see the growth of your money. Every time you log in, you can see how your money is growing. You can monitor things. You can look at your downlines, those you referred to the community. Everything is located in your PO. So it's very important that you protect your PO, because you can be hacked if you're not careful. How can you get hacked? Like when you use public internet cafes, someone else can have access to your PIN, your password, and be able to log in, and they can even get all your money, because your PO is like your bank account. It contains all your money. So you need to guide it. It's your responsibility to protect your personal office. As much as possible, you should be the only one with your password. Someone else should not have access to your personal office, except if you have a guider that you trust and the person can help you. But as much as possible, I always encourage someone you should be the one responsible for your PO. Don't make it any other person's responsibility but yours. DL means downline. It means the person that you registered, you referred the person to the community, and that person is under you, so it's your downline. For upline means that person that referred you, or that person that is your guider in MMM. And soon we're going to talk more about guider, being a guider. And PMT means payment. EFT means electronic funds transfer. That's if you're paying through the internet. If you have access to EFT on your bank, you registered for EFT. You can easily, it has advantages, because maybe on weekends you get an order and maybe you don't have access to the ATM. If you're on EFT, it's so easy for you. You can sit down in the comfort of your home and you just click a button and send the money to another member of the community. POP means your proof of payment, because after you've made a payment, there needs to be a proof to the person that received the money, and also to support that I've made this payment to this person. This is the proof. DD means direct deposits. CRO means control and revision officers. These are the people that guide us as a community, because we are working with different people from different backgrounds, different races, and that is the reason we have rules that guide us in MMM, so that we can have a fair financial system running. So these are the people that help us monitor this process. So if somebody is not abiding by the rules, there are consequences that that person is going to face. So these are like the police of MMM that investigates certain situations or whatever is going on. They are the ones that give the verdict and say, okay, this is the repercussion for such and such acts that was carried out. So this is the control and revision officers. And now we come to a very interesting topic. It's moratorium. What does this mean? It means that your account has been frozen. How do you know that your account is frozen? The first sign is that you cannot get help or you cannot provide help. It means that something has happened along the line. Maybe there's a rule that you broke without even knowing. There's something you did wrong that you're not even aware of. But how do you know? These are the signs. One is that you cannot get help. Another one, you cannot provide help. What do? You create a ticket to support, and then you submit your ID, a copy of your bank card, or a letter to verify, which states your full name, your ID, your bank card, and bank account number, and all your social media links like your Facebook, your Skype, your Twitter. What's going to happen? And this takes a long time. The CRO, the control and revision officers, are going to go into details to check this document, to verify that really you are the owner of this account. And it depends on what they find at the end of the investigation, if you're still going to carry out with that account or you are going to be blocked permanently. It is the CRO that decides this. So in case you fall into this situation whereby you cannot GH or PH, what you need to do is submit the following documents so they can verify. Because sometimes it could take a month, it could take 2 months, depending on the load of people that are on call for the same issue. So a lot of times people get frustrated when they get into moratorium. So it's best not to get into this state. So when we follow the rules, the next speaker is going to be talking about the rules of MMM, and Manager Tabi will talk more about that. Next slide. How to become a guider in MMM. I'm just going to go through that. Things that you require to become a guider: you need to have a laptop, because you're going to go through a 10-day course online. It's a Skype course, so you need to have a Skype address, register on Skype. You need a Gmail account, and then you must have registered at least 5 people who have provided help. This is for those who are interested in becoming a guide in the MMM. Of course, not everybody wants to be a guide, but you need to know. Really, some people say, oh, I just want to join MMM and make money. It's good, but it's not good enough, because we have an ideology that we're trying to pass across, so we need more. And the second thing is that you should know, we don't keep it as a secret that we don't get money from somewhere else. The money rotates among the members. And we're very proud to say it. We don't hide it. It's not a secret. We don't have any investment that will take the money. There is no central account. The money is in the accounts of the members. That's why, a few days ago when there was an issue with the media in MMM, and they said Sir Segi Mabrodi ran off with the money from MMM. He took it in the suitcase and he ran off. A lot of people that would believe that are people that don't understand the ideology of MMM. those that understand know that there is no central account. So where did he get the money? Segi Mavrodi doesn't have the money. It's the members that have the money. So and so pays so and so. So you understand what I mean? So you need to understand the ideology. As I was saying, every person needs to be responsible for telling someone else, referring someone else to join the community so we can grow our community. 2 reasons. So that our community can continue to exist. Because our community exists on new people coming in. The second reason, so that we can spread our ideology. More and more people need to understand the financial system of the world. So it's my responsibility and it's your responsibility. The benefits of being a guider. A guider gets 5% bonus, 3%, 1%, 0.5%, 0.3%, and 0.1%. Do you know that if you're not a guider, the bonus that you're going to get will stop at 10%? There's one of my downlines that was talking to me 2 days ago. She said, oh, I registered somebody that registered somebody under him. And then I don't understand why I didn't get a bonus. I said, you can't get a bonus because you're not a guider. The bonus went to that other person that used this email to register someone. She said, oh, I don't understand. So you mean I'm not getting any bonus? You can't. The only bonus you get ends at 10% if you're not a guider. If any other person registers under somebody else, that bonus is going to go to that person. You understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah. But if you're a guider or a manager, if, for example, I'm a manager and then Primrose registers under me, and then somebody else registers under Primrose, you keep getting the bonuses on and on and on and on and on like this. These are the benefits. And the reason why there's a lot of benefits is because there's a lot of work in being a manager. You know? You have to talk all the time. People will be on your case. You have to answer your phone. And they're calling, sometimes they're asking you funny questions that it's so obvious that this thing is like this. And they say, oh, why don't you know this thing? Are you not a manager in MMM? You're supposed to know this. So what I'm trying to say, it's beautiful to be a manager. And it's not just about money. You get money, you get bonuses. But the main reason is for us to spread the ideology of our community, which is to destroy the unfair financial system of the world. Introduction to Bitcoins. The reason why we talk about this is because Bitcoins is really gaining ground right now in the world. And we also PhD in Bitcoins in MMM. Now, Bitcoin is a form of digital currency. Some people don't like to hear about Bitcoins, but it's important for you to follow the trend that is going on in the world. It's important for you to be enlightened, to know what is going on in the world. You know, Bitcoin is not the only form of digital currency, because right now we have so many. There's one called OneCoin. There's another one called Coin something. There's one called Bitcoin. There are so many that are coming up every day. So if you have an idea what Bitcoins are, you can also understand the way the other ones run. What it means is Bitcoin is just like money. This money that we spend called rands. You can see it, it's physical, but this one is it's not a physical money. It's something that is controlled on the system. So it has advantages and disadvantages also. So Bitcoin is very popular because it's the first example of a growing category of money known as cryptocurrency. Can you please have the next slide? What are the characteristics of Bitcoins? One, it is decentralized. What this means is that it's not controlled by one body. Just like the rands is controlled by the Reserve Bank here in South Africa. In other countries, there's always a central body that controls the currency of any nation. So that is what's saying that in Bitcoins, there's no authority that controls it. And this has advantages, for it being this way. Because when a body controls the currency of a nation, it has disadvantages and it affects the economy. Because you can decide to print money, and you can decide to make money scarce. And that's the reason why there's something called inflation. Because money can be played with in every nation because it's being controlled by a central authority. It's controlled by people, human beings, but it's not the same way with Bitcoins. Number two, it's easy to set up. In banks, you will have to go through some, hoops to open a bank account. Sometimes you may not even qualify because there are some banks that you will go to. They're going to ask you for your proof of address. It means if you don't have a proof of address, you cannot open a bank account. It's as simple as that. So that is what this is trying to say, that in Bitcoins, it's the other way around. You don't need to have, you don't need any formality. Anybody can open a Bitcoin address. It's anonymous. Users can hold multiple Bitcoin addresses, and they aren't linked to names, addresses, or other personal identifying information. Like today, as I was going through Facebook, there's a bank that said from the 25th of April, you have to put your name, your surname, your ID number before you can transfer money to someone else. Why? Because it's not anonymous. They want to know who is this money going to? Where is it coming from? Why? So they can control you, monitor your money. So you don't have that freedom. It's not the same for Bitcoins. That's what they're saying. You can do whatever you want. You can send to anybody. Nobody's going to monitor you. Another characteristic, it is completely transparent. In other words, if you go to the website called blockchain, you can see every transaction of Bitcoin that is going on. If somebody sends you Bitcoin and you want to check that it really sent it to you, just go and check it out on blockchain. That's why they say there's transparency. There's nothing being hidden. And number 5, transaction fees are very minimal. For example, your bank may charge you £10 fee for international transfer, but Bitcoins, they charge you very minute money to send transactions, and it doesn't matter how much you're sending, it's still the same uniform money that you're charged, the same fee. It's very fast. You can send money anywhere and it will arrive in minutes as soon as the Bitcoin network processes the payment. I'm sure that is very direct. It is non-repudiable. That is one, should we say, disadvantage, because you have to be very careful when you're sending Bitcoins. You can't get them back. Once you send them, they are gone forever. So you need to make sure you double check the Bitcoin address that you're sending to, that it's correct, so you don't make any mistake. How do you store Bitcoins? Bitcoin wallets store the private keys that you need to access a Bitcoin address and to spend your funds. So you store them with your Bitcoin wallet. And how can you buy Bitcoins? We have so many exchanges at the moment. We have Xapo, we have Altcoin, we have local Bitcoin here in South Africa. So there's so many ways you can buy. You can even use your, right now they even have Bitcoin credit cards, so you can just swipe, especially Xapo. It's about $20 to get a Bitcoin card, and you can swipe it anywhere right here in South Africa. You can buy anything from any store with the Bitcoin card. Yeah, they come in a variety of forms. There are 5 main types. There's the desktop, mobile, web, paper, and hardware. Great. And I usually talk more about Altcoin Trader, not because they are the best, It's just because they are more accessible. Because when you open a Bitcoin wallet with Altcoin Trader, you can pay money in rands and you can buy Bitcoins. For the other ones, they're not located here in South Africa, so it's not that easy because you're going to have to do some kind of transfer in dollars. Yeah, but you just settle for the one that works for you. Yeah. And that is the end of my